Yo, what's poppin', people? Your boy Snacks is back in the building with another banger. You know how we do. Before we get started, we like to give a shout out to you, the viewer, for taking the time out to watch this video. But while you're here, do us a solid, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and turn your post notification bell on so you'll know when we go live or dropping this heat. You know what I'm saying? And we will not do a video without giving a shout out to the beautiful ladies of the CU Aunties. So when you see these CU Aunties in the chat or in the comment section, make sure you show them the respect that is due and make sure you give them all the love. Don't make us find you in these YouTube streets. You know what I'm talking about? Collin Cowherd is the biggest flip-flopper when it comes to Shedeursanders. He is the biggest changer of all narratives or whatever side of the commentator take he thinks will excite the fans and get him the most views. That's the side he lands on that week. And yet again, let's give it up for all the haters of Shedeursanders and Deion Coach Prime. Give it up for all the haters that want to see him fail. Let's give it up for all the haters that just want views off their name, image, and likeness. And let's give it up for the commentators that love making videos and giving an opinion when they don't know the true story. And Collin Cowherd is one of those guys. Because of the recent information of Shedeursanders turning down the Philadelphia Eagles and the Baltimore Ravens, him and Coach Prime have been on the circuit lately. And Coach Prime was on the New Heights podcast with the Kelsey brothers, Jason and Travis, talking about Shedeur and the teams that spoke up and wanted to draft Shedeur on that third day when he had slid into the fifth round. If you don't remember, let me remind you.
Been keeping up with Shedeur in Cleveland. What's the best piece of advice you've given him as a dad and as a coach?
Be patient and be ready. You got to be ready when it's time. But when it's time, you're going to know. And it's coming up.
There we go.
You know, I got a prediction. I ain't telling nobody. I got a feeling when it's going to go down. But it's going to go down this year.
It's going to happen. All right.
Yeah, he's going to get a shot.
And that's all you can ask for as a player. All you can ask for is the opportunity, right?
Tell me this, because this was all over the media, because I know y'all keep it a buck. That's why I love y'all to life.
Yes.
They made a big deal out of Philly called us on draft day.
Okay.
They didn't mention that. I just let a cat out of the bag.
I didn't know that. Yeah, okay.
Who was it? Baltimore. And
I
the
heard
Browns.
this, yeah.
And the Browns. They forget, I know, I played for Baltimore, so me and Ozzy are cool. So
There you go.
we understood that whole conversation, and he wanted to talk to Shedeur as well as he wanted to talk to me. And I put Shedeur on the phone, and Shedeur, I don't want to say how it went, but how in the world can somebody fault him for saying or thinking, why in the world would I go back up Lamar for 10 more years?
For sure.
I've never sat on the bench and said, well, I learned a lot today.
Great quote. God damn, that is a good quote.
That is a bar. That is a bar. But as we crank this thing up, we finna get into something that's a little jarring for some people. And it touches a subject that people don't like to talk about. But here in this space, on this video, it matters. And that subject is race. Not racism, not hating, but race. And people don't understand that Shedeursanders did not take those jobs, not just because he didn't want to sit behind Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts. It's also their brothers. And in order for him to play, something bad has to happen for them. And that's not how we get down. But we're going to talk about it. But first, let's back up a little bit. Because Collin Cowherd is the biggest flip-flopper when it comes to this subject. When it comes to Shedeur Sanders, he flip-flops on numerous occasions. Let's start here.
So yesterday, Shedeur Sanders got caught speeding over 100 miles an hour. He's a quarterback. Mike Tomlin often says 2 is a trend. Can't screw up 3 or 4 times. 2 is a trend. Just 2 times. I'm not sure if I need 2 times when you're a young quarterback. 1 bad judgment turns me off. But I have now, in the last couple of months, 2 things that really turn me off with Shedeur Sanders, who I have championed. That cringy, awful, legendary draft room. Bro, you're a B prospect. You know, your dad's prime time, who led with his ego for years. You got to have a little self-awareness. I had more than one GM say, total turnoff. Come on, it's not the end of the world. It's a bad look. And now this. 100 miles an hour. Yep. All you fanboys, go ahead. Manziel, Baker, Deshaun Watson defended it to the hilt on your Reddit account. Sorry. Don't minimize it. Don't pander. This is not good for a quarterback. Not good. As of today, and I've said this for years, I do not cling to opinions. New information, new opinion. I'm an airline pilot. We got a storm coming. Here's the latest radar. I'm changing my route, not flying headfirst into it. I don't think about him the same. There was a moment I thought Will Levis, about 4 months out from the draft, had a chance. And I turned on Will Levis when he started showing up like a bodybuilder, gun show. And I had 2 NFL coaches, both needing quarterbacks, who text me. Got my number and text me. They're like, this is the exact conversation we are having in our building right now. 2 NFL coaches.
Because see, when people change, people change. You was rocking with him before he got the speeding tickets. After he got the speeding ticket, we can't rock with you no more. But he's back.
Don't kid yourself. This is how the league works. The owner of the Cleveland Browns, Jimmy Haslam, is really impulsive. He drafted Johnny Manziel over better quarterbacks. He drafted Baker Mayfield. He signed Deshaun Watson to a ridiculous guaranteed deal despite all sorts of allegations personally against him. Horrible contract. Probably the league's worst contract. And in a quarterback room with 0 star power, except Shedeur Sanders, he's going to get a chance. And I mean, this is a owner. They don't have the Steelers roster or legacy. They're not as well run as Pittsburgh, and they don't have Joe Burrow. So that's the first thing. There's a lot of belief in the NFL that Jimmy Haslam is the reason that of all the teams, Cleveland finally drafted Shedeur Sanders. He is desperate to be recognized and for star power. The second thing Cleveland has going for it, Shedeur has going for it, is Cleveland's roster is the weakest easily in the division, and the early schedule is brutal. Not only are 5 of the first 6 teams they face playoff teams, but the first 5 teams they play are all top 10 offenses, and there's a lot of flashy quarterbacks. Jordan Love and Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson. So you think old Joe Flacco, dull Kenny Pickett, small Dylan Gabriel, when the team's getting beat 33-17, and the quarterback for the Browns looks small and old and average against exciting Jordan Love and Lamar Jackson, or brilliant Joe Burrow, or again, highly productive Jared Goff. Even in week 6, it's Aaron Rodgers, who will be the biggest star in the building. So my prediction, you start looking at that schedule between week 7 and 10, Shedeur-Sanders is going to get a shot here. Shedeur's on this roster because Jimmy Haslam wanted him on the roster. But I'm going to make a prediction here. Haslam is starving for a star quarterback. He doesn't have the Ravens roster. He doesn't have Burrow. He doesn't have the Steelers brand. It's a weak roster that really, I mean, they're an injury or two away, maybe one injury away from having the weakest wide receiver room in the league. Cross your fingers with Jerry Jeudy staying healthy. So this is a team that's going to be boring offensively. You know what will make him not boring? Shedeur-Sanders taking snaps, win or lose.
Now, that's Collin then. Now that this information has come out about Shedeur not going to the Ravens or the Eagles, Collin, once again, wants to be heard, wants to be seen. But like I tell all of you, watch where you get your information from. Watch who you listen to, because they will present a narrative to you that they would like for you to believe. Not the truth, not the facts. This is a sports reporter. This is a guy who's supposed to know his shit, but he don't know shit. All you hear him doing is repeating himself. In all of these interviews and all of these things that we're playing, they're all saying the same shit. But today, he wanted to get up on that platform again. Let's go.
Sometimes it takes a while for the truth to come out, for the whole story to be developed. We officially have it on why Shedeur-Sanders dropped like a rock in the draft and ended up going in the 5th round with the Cleveland Browns, where he's now splitting scout team duties with Bailey Zappi. Deion Sanders admitted the Eagles and the Ravens called his son before the draft, but he didn't want to be a long-term backup. Deion is quoted as...
See, that's bad information, number one. They didn't call him before the draft. They called him that Saturday. That Saturday morning, the Browns, the Ravens, the Eagles. We're in the 3rd day of the draft. We're in round 4. And people are making calls to pick the players and see what players are thinking about. And Shedeur-Sanders got a call from all 3 teams. But his words were, they called Deion Sanders before the draft, not that day of.
His son before the draft, but he didn't want to be a long-term backup. Deion is quoted as saying, hey, I never sat on the bench and learned a lot. I mean, who learned sitting on the bench? Oh, I don't know. Aaron Rodgers, Brady, Jordan Love, Brock Purdy, Phillip Rivers behind Breeze.
Now, out of all of those quarterbacks he named, which one of them was projected a 1st round draft pick? None. Not one. Absolutely none of them were projected as a 1st round top 10 draft pick. See, there's the difference. See, this is what I'm telling you. This is how you protect yourself from bad information and people that want you to think one thing. See, Collin just wants clicks and views, but the information that he's giving and the way he's disseminating this information, trying to put Deion Sanders in a bad light, like he wasn't looking out for his son, he was just looking out for himself. Deion don't even play football no more. He a coach. He got a job. So what are we talking about? But let's finish it up.
Yeah. Patrick Mahomes behind Alex Smith, Jalen Hurts. Oh, I just winged about 8 guys. Most are really.
But none of them were projected to be a first-round draft pick. None. Not a top 10 first-round draft. None of them. None. 0. So what are you talking about?
Really good. But with Deion, it's I never. This isn't about you, primetime. Your son doesn't have primetime talent. He's an after-school special. You were a primetime talent. Okay, you're totally different.
See, that's where you're wrong. His son was thought to have primetime talent because he was projected to be drafted in the top 5 of the NFL fucking draft. See, y'all got to quit listening to these ignorant-ass people. These people that don't know what they're talking about, who don't understand the situation, who don't understand the culture. See, for once in your life, this is about us. This ain't about you. Y'all mad because Shedeursanders got to pick where he wanted to go. He got to pick which team he wanted to go to. He was able to turn down this team and turn down that team and said, I'll take this one. You don't like that. The NFL don't like it either because yet and still they wanted to shut him down. They didn't want him to be that guy. And yet and still, he still got to pick where he went. And y'all don't like that. Why should he be able to pick a team that he wanted to go to? You should take the first team that's offered to you. No, that's not how that goes. But there's a reason why he didn't take those teams. But I'm going to let Collin get it off his chest.
From ball game, you're projecting your talent onto your son. You suppressed a man. Think about this. So 2 great organizations said, would you like to come into our house and learn from us? Nah. And then Deion pre-draft went on and crapped on like the 4 or 5 bad teams that were interested. I mean, if your son or daughter is going to the market and you're a famous mom or dad and you say, listen, we're not going to work for any startups. And unless he's a vice president or she's a vice president, we're not working for Apple and Microsoft or Google either. Yeah, not great parenting. And this story has been undercovered because Deion's very popular in the media, but this is insane. Who learned something sitting on a bench? The best quarterback ever, Brady, sitting behind Drew Bledsoe, a total pro. Mahomes has a.
Brady was a 6th-round pick. Mahomes was a 3rd-round pick. Who was projected to be a 1st-round pick? And it only didn't happen because of the NFL didn't want it to happen. So him being able to pick which team he wanted to go to was great for him.
Acknowledged Alex Smith was instrumental to his growth. I mean, Lamar Jackson sat for 10 weeks behind Joe Flacco, learned the offense. Brock Purdy, Jalen Hurts. I mean, that's what Green Bay does. We draft you, you sit and learn. Who learns from the bench? I got nothing against Shedeur. I've always said this is more of a Deion issue because son worships dad, son follows dad's advice. But the idea, who learns anything on the bench? Here's a memo. I was just reading a story this morning, I think it was in the New York Times, about how college-educated kids are struggling to find jobs out of college. Let me give you tiny bit of advice. If a great company calls and says, listen, we're going to give you kind of a semi-internship, take it. There's not many great anything out there. There are very few great companies. Ravens, Eagles are great companies. If they call and they say, you know, it's not a starter, but you can sit here and figure it, you take it.
No, you don't take it when you have choices. See, it's what they try not to get you to understand, that he had choices. He could go to either one of the 3. It wasn't just one. He had choices. He had the Eagles. He had the Ravens. He had the Browns. He had choices. And he picked what was best for him. He also picked because he didn't want to sit behind 2 black men that something would have to happen to in order for them to get a start. That's called respecting the game. No, I'm not sitting behind Lamar Jackson. Yeah, he great. Yeah, he going to be there 10 years. But in order for me to start, I have to hope something bad happens to that brother. And I'm not going to do that. Same thing with Jalen Hurts. This is about us. This is about him caring about his people. Not one to wish something bad would happen to a brother so he could get his opportunity. See, but y'all don't see none of that. Because all y'all see is he was offered by the Ravens and he should have took it. No, the hell he shouldn't. Not if he had choices. If you got 3 girls offering you a date, you get to pick one. Not the first one that offers. If you got 3 cars and people say, here, this is your car, you can have this one. Another person pulls up and say, here, this is your car, you can have this one. Another person pulls up in a Maybach and say, here, this is your car, you can have this one. You can have this Corvette convertible, you can have this Maybach, or you can have this Range Rover. You know what that is? Choices. You get to pick the one you want. Me, I'm taking a Range Rover every time. I don't know. That bet, both of them, I love both of them, but, you know. But choices is what Collin is refusing to say, that he had choices and he didn't want to have to wish hurt upon another black man in order for him to succeed. That's what you call choices, you idiot. See, y'all think we just supposed to take the first thing that's offered because that's the best we gonna get. That might have been the best selection for you, but it wasn't best selection for him. Y'all can't live with us doing what's best for us. Not because it would look good on us to sit behind Lamar. He can still learn from Lamar. He got Lamar's number. He can go visit Lamar. He can go work out with Lamar in the summertime. He got Jalen Hurts' number. He can call Jalen Hurts. He can call him and ask him questions. We can still get the same information. You don't have to be there to get it. It's readily available. It's accessible. But let you tell it, oh, this is the offer. You got to take this one. No, the hell we don't. We ain't got to take what you offer me. Motherfucker offered me $5 million for y'all 10 years ago, and I turned him down. Got a good deal from Full Screen. But just because that was the first offer offered me, just because that was the first $1 million offer offered to me, I was supposed to take it? No, I wasn't supposed to take it. Because if you offer me $5 million, somebody see it for 10. Choices. Oh, and then them offers did come up, but you know, your boy, popping collars. Got him. You don't want him to have choices. You think he should do what you think is best for him. No, he done what he and his family sat down and talked about what would be best for them. You don't get to be a part of that. Like I said, Collin's the biggest flip-flopper in the world. This was Collin a month ago.
Dillon Gabriel was a reach. I don't think he's an NFL quarterback of note. I think Shedeur is going to win the job. I don't think he's great, but I think he's accurate. He moves well enough. Where do you land on that circus?
There's like the Flacco, Kenny Pickett, who's going to start. Like that's one competition, right? And the loser of that most likely is released, okay? And then there's sort of like the Gabriel Sanders, who's the primary backup. I don't think that at Gabriel Sanders camp, unless they are so good early in training camp, are going to overtake sort of the Pickett Flacco, who's going to start competition, right? I think Flacco starts part of the year as a quarterback. At some point, though, Sanders overtakes him. And so I think Sanders will eventually play, but probably not start the season number one.
I'm Uncle Collin. So there were these two scientists back in like the 60s for 3M, the company 3M. And they were trying to create this super strong adhesive for the aerospace industry. But even though they're scientists and smart guys, they ended up creating a much weaker adhesive that was very removable. And that became Post-it notes.
Yeah,
which are probably more important anyway. But the point being is they stumbled into wild success. And I think that's what the Cleveland Browns have done. The coach and the GM didn't want to draft Shedeur-sanders. And they did in the 5th round, 2 rounds after Dillon Gabriel. And he's crushing it. He's their best quarterback in camp. Collin, he's facing backups. Yeah, he's throwing to him as well. Sometimes you stumble into success. It's not a straight line. It's not linear. Brady with the Patriots, Brock Purdy to the Niners.
Point being, you know he good. You keep saying it. But all of a sudden, his choices are bad. You don't like what he did. Somebody need to go give Colin Cowherd a beer bottle or something, because he keeps confusing the hell out of himself. At one moment, Shedeur is in the best place he needs to be. Now he should have went over here, because now we know he could have went over there. That's where he should have went. And do what? He don't want to sit. He want to be in the best place that he could play right now. And the Cleveland Browns offer that possibility. But see, when you thinking for you and he's thinking for him, not being an athlete, you don't get to make that choice. You don't get to say what's right for him. You get to say, well, I think it would have been great if he'd have done that. You don't get to call him stupid. You don't get to say his father is pushing his beliefs on him, because you don't know that dynamic. You don't get to say that his father is not doing what's best for him. His father is done with football. He doesn't play anymore. He's already great, iconic, bronze, marble statues in the Hall of Fame. That's already done. Volume 2 is on the way. And you were lording over Shedeur-sanders all summer, telling people how great he was, telling people how lucky Cleveland is that they got Shedeur-sanders, because that might be their guy. But now all of a sudden, that was the dumbest move he could have made. Come on, man. Make up your mind. Which way you want to go? Better quit drinking them tequila shots and coming to work. Shit is bad for you. But anyway, man, we getting out of here. Y'all make sure y'all do your boy a solid. Hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button. The haters are going to show up all day, every day. It is what it is. We out of here, man. Peace.